And now.
Yes, BBC Upload, the place where you can go to submit your creativity. I've got another absolute gem that's come through BBC Upload. Introduce yourself. Who is sat opposite me right now?
Hi, my name's Wendy Lewis. I'm a filmmaker and singer-songwriter and member of a small team, Celebrate Life CIC in London.
Brilliant. And look, you've put together this fantastic video, which I've been able to clip and use on the show tonight. I will be playing it out. But before we get to what it is you submitted, I'd love to unravel what you're all about. So we've got filmmaker, musician, singer as well. I know that you're very creative in your own right.
Thank you.
As well as this group community that you've founded within London as well. So why don't we start with that group?
Okay.
And I'd love to know a little bit more because you're doing fantastic things to help young people across London.
Thank you very much. Yes, we began maybe 12 years ago now, and I would say all these themes that we have that are in me and the rest of the team with the music and the filmmaking and the storytelling, it all actually ties together because since the beginning we have been doing events for communities in London, bringing people together. At first we started with bringing communities together, maybe the Rwandan, Burundi, Bolivian, different communities that might not usually collaborate, and bringing music and food and dance and storytelling. And we would film that, and I would make those events into little short films that would then have a much wider reach online. And over time, we morphed from those bigger events into something smaller, into workshops, and working more with young people, and particularly those affected by knife crime. And we continued with the filmmaking and have really developed that over the past couple of years.
That's fantastic because I love this idea of just the sharing of culture in a really relaxed and happy, open setting. What made you want to do that? Because that's a big project to take on to I guess, outreach people from different areas within London. It's a big task to bring people together for the first time. It's not always straightforward.
It is. You're absolutely right. And this is where I feel like the power of teamwork, finding a good team. Part of Celebrate Life, there's Ronnie, there's Wally, there's myself, there's Rob, and we all have different strengths. My side's very much in the creative and the design, and Wally, he's very good at outreach. He's got incredible contacts with musicians, particularly world musicians across London. And Ronnie, we call her the glue that puts it all together, who's very practical and gets the venue. And the three of us work together. We can bring in strengths and do a lot. I mean, what we've done with just three people, and then people have been added over time, is remarkable, I would say. And it's so much fun to be a part of, really.
And I remember, not to bring it back to me, but when Notting Hill Carnival was online and it was all virtual, I caught up with the Steel Pan Band who would have been performing on the streets of London if we hadn't have had sort of lockdown and all the things that came with that. And there was this commonality, especially between the young people, that having that activity, having that way that they can share a passion with friends and also get chatting to people a little bit older than them.
Absolutely.
Maybe they wouldn't have had that opportunity to have such an intimate experience with everybody in one room, just doing what they love, had they not been part of that. So what has it been like for you to bring people of all generations together? And I guess this also feeds into the video that we'll be chatting about in a little while.
It is. And in fact, this last year we did an event. We were kind of moved away from the workshops and the films we've been doing to do an event like we used to do, which was a music event. And we literally did have such a mix of very young rappers and then kind of music from the South American rainforest.
Amazing.
Mixed with dancers. I mean, that's London, isn't it? When you look at London, this is what we are. We're very multicultural and it's all mixed here. And to really present that on stage, it's just great fun and really inspiring. And everybody sees something new that they haven't seen before, including me. And we made this video for that event specifically.
And so this video is what you submitted. This is how I found your amazing work through this BBC Upload submission. So the video is all about hope, isn't it? So for anyone that's not quite getting when I say this video, so with BBC Upload, you can submit something that I can watch, that I can listen to. And so you've really put together a mixture of things. So you've made this short film.
Yes, and everything we do with Celebrate Life, it has that theme of hope, of peace. It's not just music, it has a heart, it has a reason to bring people together that will make them feel better when they leave. That's the hope and the plan. And we wanted to make this event about, we called it New Hope and New Beginnings, coming out of lockdown and people actually being together in a real event for the first time for a lot of them, for a long time. And I wanted to explore the topic of hope, because when you ask people, like if I asked you what is hope, I would get a different definition than if I asked anyone else. It's
subjective, isn't it?
It's subjective, and I like that because when you put all those different viewpoints together, you get a whole image, which is something powerful and beautiful. And we wanted to get different people with different perspectives, and we did that. We just brought them down to Brixton one afternoon, filmed them all together. It was very quick, it was very efficient, and I didn't know what I was going to get. And the youngest was 6 years old, and the oldest was 86 years old, a veteran, and everybody's input was so personal, so sweet. And there's one lady in there, I don't know if you'll be able to tell because you won't be able to see the words on the screen, but she recently just came from Ukraine, fleeing the war there. So her perspective on hope is very raw, very real.
Yeah, from a place that's relatively, they're fresh feelings. Sometimes we talk about hope and we go back to a time which could be, a couple of years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, a point way back when where everything was against us. But actually, this video really represents how we're always, that people are always finding that there are always hurdles in life, especially with this particular young lady. And it was very raw. And it was so interesting as well, because people, I think, sometimes get quite I see people writing online how they get quite overwhelmed by the news. They get quite overwhelmed by social media. So sometimes, I guess, I'm only guessing from what I've seen people write, people can switch off and because they just see it as news, and sometimes they shut off and there's not that human connection.
You always have to, because it's so depressing and what can you do about it? And this is why I like being part of Celebrate Life, because it feels empowering to just be doing something and connecting with people who are doing good stuff and positive stories, because you see such a lot of bad on the news. It's nice to have this positivity. Yes.
And I'm really intrigued by you as a person as well. I mean, you're doing this amazing work. I absolutely love that you are bringing, as said, such a range of different people together with different stories, different truths, a blend of culture, people from different generations to share their stories and their fun and their quirks and their passions. And that in itself is fantastic. That is what this show, this station, endeavours to do. And we definitely need to bring you back and maybe come down to a live event that you're putting on.
Please do.
What I'm really intrigued about as well is you as a person, because you have got so much to you. Didn't you? Were you brought up in France?
I was initially brought up in Yorkshire, and my family moved to France when I was 9. So I had a very remote upbringing, homeschooled in beautiful Breton countryside, quite isolating, but I was forced to find my creativity. So people are sometimes a bit surprised. But I think it's because I had so much time and so much boredom. Yeah. And in boredom, you have to find something to do. You have to dig deep in yourself, and you've got to be creative, otherwise you go crazy.
Yes. And it's just interesting thinking about that remote life in France, in the countryside, where you say you were really clasping on to anything you could to just discover that creativity within you, to build on that creativity. But now, you're in a place where you're almost submerged in it. You've got all these people around you, and it's so different.
It's true. I couldn't have come to a more different place when I came to London. It was terrifying and exciting.
Yes.
But the wonderful thing about London is that whatever your interest is, there are people here who have those interests. So I was interested in North Indian classical singing, and in France, I never even met another person who was learning Hindi.
Yeah.
And I came here, and there are top class teachers who can literally train me as if I was in India.
Yes.
So that was incredible.
That's fantastic, and I love that that's a vocal route that you've gone down as well. Could you do an a cappella? Can I put you on this? It's just so beautiful because on TikTok everyone's been going a little bit crazy over your videos.
I know. I was very excited to have. I don't know how that happened. I don't really understand TikTok and the algorithms, but
yes,
one of the songs just seemed to be popular.
I'd love to hear it.
Do you want me to go for it?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm just going to sing it straight. This is a very sweet song from an old movie. Baranat kat hai re Krishna kanhaya ka kare Yashoda maiya Baranat kat hai re Krishna kanhaya ka kare Yashoda maiya Baranat kat hai re ढूंढे रे अंगिया उसे चाहूं और जाने कहाँ छुप गया नंद किशोर ढूंढे रे अंगिया उसे चाहूं और जाने कहाँ छुप गया नंद किशोर उड़ गया ऐसे जैसे परवैया कहाँ कर यशोदा मैया बरनत कत है रे.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. And when you're learning sort of, there's so much, I guess, to singing that as well. It's like pronunciation, and it's sort of the tone of the voice and the curve and it's a different way of using your voice, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
It's gorgeous. And so how did you start to learn to sing? Like, you know, I know there's so many different routes that you've gone down with your musicality and your vocalization of music. But you said that you found some amazing coaches.
I have.
Yeah.
And I actually started, because like I said, I was home educated.
Yeah.
So I decided to learn Hindi when I was 11. So it started with the language.
Brilliant.
And then I really got into the stories, reading the Ramayana, the Mahabharata. I got crazily into all that. Then I kind of discovered the music. I was like, wow, this is amazing. But I couldn't sing it, even though I loved to sing. It was so hard. I couldn't do it. That was fascinating. And I came to London, and there is a College of Indian Arts here called the Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan in West Kensington. And I was very lucky. Somebody pointed me in that direction. And Chandrima Mishra, who's a wonderful teacher, taught me for 8 years.
Wow.
And yeah, you just, you know, it is, I find it very hard. I think particularly because I wasn't brought up with that music, it's harder, but I do absolutely love it, and it's incredibly rewarding.
And it's so awesome that you've, off of your own back, kind of gone on this search to explore culture around the world and to dip into, because it's one thing to add a song to your playlist, maybe a song that explores a different dialect, or you know, the list is endless, but to actually sort of endeavour to become, you know, to just, I guess, appreciate that music and be able to carry that flow with your own musicality is just fantastic. And it's so cool.
It's beautiful music, and the lyrics and the meanings are very deep. And
the storytelling.
The storytelling.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for giving me a stripped down live rendition. I was really hoping you would, because your voice is so beautiful, and it's just magical to listen to. I will very shortly give Hope a spin, the film that you submitted to BBC Upload. But for anyone that's just caught us as you were singing for me there, just reiterate who you are and how people can find you.
Oh, sure. Thank you. I'm Wendy Lewis, and a filmmaker and a singer-songwriter and artist. You can find me if you put Wendy Lewis into YouTube. And I'm also part of a community company called Celebrate Life CIC. We do filmmaking and events and workshops for young people. Particularly, I haven't mentioned my documentary, but we have a documentary called Power to Change, which is really what we've been busy doing for the past couple of years. Mm-hmm. And it's having a great impact, and it's stories of Londoners affected by knife crime, but not depressing story. It's a story of hope, because I love exploring these themes of hope and peace and forgiveness. People have gone through that journey.
Super. Well, thank you, Wendy. Thank you so much. We will definitely keep up with the work you're doing. We'll get down to a live event, and it would be lovely to meet some of the people that you get to get creative with on a day-to-day basis, to meet the team, the wider team, and sort of explore the brains behind this amazing community group that, again, is just doing some superb things to help young people, to just embrace young people, to embrace all people across London who share a creative streak. This is Hope, the short film that Wendy made and submitted to BBC Upload.
To me, the word hope means happiness and possibility.
Always room and chance for something better.
A desire for a successful outcome to what you're doing.
Positive thinking about the future.
Hope feels like helping people.
It's the idea of looking for the silver lining.
Hope will always be the key thing that you need.
When you say the word hope, I think of inclusion, diversity and equality.
When you truly believe that something will happen, or you manifest something that's going to happen.
Hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness.
When something bad is going on with you and reality is like huge and strong and more than you, then probably hope becoming like, I don't know, safety boat for you, some last stop before despair. So it's like, you know, something that saves you when you're really bad.
We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. What that quote means to me personally is that disappointment is short-lived, it's temporary, and something you can easily recover from, whereas hope is eternal, everlasting, and something you can look forward towards your future.
30 years ago, I was told that I had 6 months to live. So it was hopeless. It was hopeless. I saw active service in Suez and Cyprus in the 56 war, and this was terrifying. I never knew whether I was going to be alive at lunchtime. So I was drinking out of this water bottle, champagne and Guinness, you know. And of course I came out with an alcohol problem. So I had to deal with that. I had to deal with PTSD. I had to find something to turn the tide, so to speak. It was at that time that I was reading Mark Twain. And the lovely quote, one of my favourite quotes, was that there are two important moments in one's life: the moment you're born and the moment you find out why. And I thought, this is good. This is where the journey starts.
I never thought that war could be something that I would ever talk or my kids would experience. And as it hit us, I was sitting in the corner with Rissa of the safetiest corner in the house, and we were listening to the bombarding and missiles going above our head, and probably that's what I experienced, that hope that we will be alive and that it will end.
All these bad things should stop. Stop. We need peace. We need to enjoy our lives.
Don't let your past define you. I think that's something that's carried me a lot throughout my life. And it's like, no matter where you've come from or what you've done or who you was, like, you'll be able to build from that regardless.
There is no wisdom greater than kindness. I live by this.
We all make mistakes. Things don't always go our way, but to always, have that love and compassion and treating ourselves gently, so that we can sort of ride through the turbulences of life.
Sometimes there's life doesn't give you space or time for hope or dreams, and I would love people to save this space for hoping and dreaming, because it's very important. And hoping for living in love and freedom.
Nobody is below, nobody is above. Everyone is on the same platform, not over, not under. Everyone is the same. Everyone supports everyone.
I always look at how nature just knows instinctively what to do, when to do it, how it's going to be done. We know that the leaves are going to fall, but we know that they're going to come back again. And so to me, that's like, actually, it gives me hope that everything has a season. So even if I'm in a time right now which looks bleak, it feels bleak, actually I have hope that we'll come round full circle and better days will come.
Where
there is life, there is hope.
Super. A short film put together by the wonderful Wendy opposite me, who really, it's just so, I can't even answer. There's just something so peaceful in sometimes what can be such an intense story and such a terrifying story. You've sort of got a veteran, and then you hear from someone who has experienced the war in Ukraine, but off of the back of that, they're sort of like, despite those experiences, just celebrate and love and embrace who you are. And what was it like to put those stories together?
Very inspiring. I think everybody has an inspiring story to tell. And whenever I interview people, I'm always kind of in awe, really, at their courage and bravery from coming through what they've come through. And you can see that video online on YouTube. What is Hope? It's called on my channel, Wendy Lewis on YouTube.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. And just remind everybody about, because you mentioned a documentary just before we got into that, so I want to hear about that as well.
Thank you. Yes, we've been very busy Celebrate Life over the past couple of years. Well, making the documentary was more than that, but the past year we have made a documentary called Power to Change, and it's stories of Londoners who have experienced knife crime, come through the other side, and are sharing what they've learnt and their peace and their forgiveness, and they're very real stories, very real Londoners, and it's been doing very well. We've been screening it all over the place, from Scotland Yard to community centres to Brixton Police Station to the Frontline Club to Violence Reduction Unit, and we're actually showing it on Saturday in Penge, 7 to 9 p.m. at the Holy Trinity Church, and it's fundraising for the Living Well Bromley Food Bank, which is a great community initiative. And all the details are on our website, which is celebratelife.co.uk, and there's a hyphen between the celebrate and the life. Celebrate-life.co.uk.
Celebrate-life.co.uk. Definitely, please check them out. Wendy has been fantastic founder of this amazing community initiative, which has turned into what sounds like a bit of a party when everybody gets together in an exploration of culture and fun and all of the creativeness in between. So thank you so much for sharing that with BBC Upload.
Thank you. Please come along.
100%. We need to get down to one of the events. Also, I've had such an array of answers. It's totally trailing off what we've been talking about. But I've been asking everyone on the show today, what's one thing they just couldn't give up? So it sort of started as like a light-hearted, everyone talks about giving up stuff for Lent and New Year, and I've just come to accept that this year I'm keeping cheese and chocolate in my life. But then actually a thread started online from that question that I put out. What's one thing that you refuse to believe? And everyone was coming through with these really empowering things, like I refuse to believe that I'm not a good dancer. I refuse to believe that I'm not a good singer. I refuse to believe that I'll never conquer my dreams. And actually, it was wonderful, how people can sort of take an idea and so I guess my question to you is, what's one thing you refuse to believe, or one thing that you'd never give up?
Well, I was thinking this when I was listening to you in the green room, and yeah, I could totally relate to the chocolate and the cheese. But also, one thing, never give up on your peace. Do not hold on to that. Whatever the storm, whatever the circumstances, whatever the people that try and rob you of it, do not ever let go of that light inside of you. Keep it burning. That's what I would say.
I feel like I need to quote that, and I'll play that out as one of my quotes for the show, because that's very, very true. I feel like life gives us so many twists and turns, but holding on to who you are is
and the fun. And don't let go of the fun. Don't become old and adult and boring. Keep the fun alive.
Wendy, thank you so much. Thank you for joining me in the studio today. And just before we go, just again remind everyone where they can find you.
Yes, celebratelife.co.uk, the hyphen between the celebrate and the life, and also my music, Wendy Lewis Music, on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I'm there. Thank you.